I wrote a book in 2002 called Saving Lives and Saving Money, and I outlined what we could do. And the answer consistently in Washington is, well, since we can't do any of the things that are smart, which of the following three really painful, stupid things should we do? Okay, and I'm really serious about this. All of you need to understand how deeply I feel this as a former Speaker of the House and how frustrated I've been by the last decade. I'll give you three quick examples. I just put on the table a few minutes ago between $700 billion and $1.2 trillion just by not paying crooks. Now, why is it so hard for the Congress to decide that before you impose any penalties on honest people, you quit paying crooks? IBM, the CEO, and let me make this clear. The CEO of IBM went to the White House and said to Barack Obama, you can pay for virtually all of Obamacare by simply taking existing IBM technology and applying it to stop paying crooks. American Express pays 0.03% of its gross revenue to crooks. Medicaid in New York State pays more than 10%. So you as a citizen are 330 times as likely to pay a crook through the federal government as you are through your American Express card. Now, why is it so hard to say, you know how fast you could turn that around? About 60 days. I mean, if you simply passed a bill in Congress and said 60 days from now, we're contracting out to American Express, Visa, MasterCard, and IBM to create a consortium. They're going to handle all payments. We're going to eliminate CMS handling all these payments. That's the Center for Medicaid Services, which is a bureaucratic monstrosity. You would, in 60 days, save $1 trillion. Two, I'm happy to test the Ryan plan. But I would test the Ryan plan next year. I'd say anybody who is currently in Medicare who voluntarily prefers on their own to go to a premium support system could do it next year. The Ryan plan doesn't kick that in for years. I'm happy to try it out next year voluntarily because I think people have a choice. And I agree entirely with what Herman said. We're both here pandering to a fellow Georgian. Tom Price has a great bill that simply says rather than go to means testing, it simply says if you're successful and you have some money and you'd like to contract out, let's give you more freedom. The current Medicare rule is so restrictive, it is more restrictive than the British National Health Service. Now, why should Bill Gates' father be blocked from paying more if he wants to pay more? And I'd rather have him pay more than have him lecture us on raising taxes.
I'm going to turn this back to Ben to roll it over. Thanks.
This is one of the areas where I sometimes cause some waves. I believe in health information technology. I believe that it's very important that we apply the same kind of patterns of information flow that every one of you deals with an automatic teller machine. How many of you get money out of an ATM? Raise your hand. Okay? First, all of you. Right? How many of you ever got money out of an ATM outside the United States? Just raise your hand, right? Okay, so you walk up to an anonymous machine in a foreign country. You touch the screen. It comes, 7 languages come up. You pick one of the ones you're good at. You put in a plastic card, punch in a 4-number code. It reaches out 7,205 miles, crosses 6 borders, finds your bank, verifies that you are who you say you are, and you actually have money. It then gives you money in the local currency, and you have no idea what the transaction meant because you have no idea what the current exchange rate is, but you know you must still have money because it gave you money. You're happy it took 11 seconds, okay? The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services does paper. It was very funny. When they started to go into Medicare Part D, they met with the pharmacists. I know this because I was told this by people in the meeting. And all the bureaucrats said, well, now how are we going to deal with the paper? And they said, well, you know, for the last 15 years, everything we do in pharmacy is electronic. They said, gosh, how are we going to get you guys to go back to paper? Now, the reason you have so much fraud is you have a crook sitting out here who stays until 8 or 9 o'clock at night with an iPad, competing with a bureaucrat who went home at 5 who's using paper. Now, you're never going to win that fight. The major inhibitor to change is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which I said in 1995, frankly, should disappear because it is an inherently obstructive, centralized, paper-based bureaucracy that stops us from getting into a better future.
Great.